Before we dive into a few more 420 moments, I want to remind all y'all that tomorrow is Foliar Friday, so give your plants some nutrient love spray. I'm going to link to Alex's article on why you should foliar spray your plants in the description. Me and my Cat Daddy hubs have IPM Monday, Tea Tuesday, and Foliar Friday on our calendars every week as recurring events, thanks to the great advice from Alex. And we definitely notice a difference in our plants' health from being more consistent with our inputs. One of the amazing things that we put into our foliar spray is yucca powder. Again, thanks to learning from Alex. Yucca is what your watering and liquid feeding is missing. Yucca root extract contains natural surfactants, including saponins, which will aid in nutrient absorption. These surfactants reduce water tension in the soil, facilitating better penetration of that water and nutrients to plant roots. Also, to your plant's leaves on the underside and the overside. I forget what those parts are called, but check it out in Alex's article. Thanks to yucca, your plants can efficiently uptake vital minerals and trace elements, leading to improved growth, vibrant foliage, and overall enhanced health. Comment down below if you want to see a video on why surface tension affects how you should be watering your plant and why surfactants, like yucca, really can be beneficial to your garden. I'm going to link also down in the description, so many links today. Hopefully I remember, unlike last week, to the link on the article on yucca. If you're listening to this within the next month or so of releasing, you can get 30% off your first order of yucca with the discount code MOVING. And if you listen to this thereafter, try Sun Grown for 20% off your first order of yucca and see the difference it makes in your little plant babies. Not only is this a great discounted price, but Alex has really made this the most affordable yucca out there because of how much she believes in it. All right, let's continue our story from last week. As we discussed, 420's origins go back to a group of high school kids, and this all happened around the fall of 1971. And over the years, the 420 rituals of the Deadheads evolved and grew until it was picked up by the High Times in the early 1990s when one of the reporters was at a Grateful Dead show and was handed a flyer that read 420 on 420 for 420ing. Sounds about right. The meaning of 420 has grown and evolved and is not necessarily the same for everyone. In today's mini episode, we're going to be hearing from Jorge Cervantes, Jeff Lowenfels, and Dr. Riley Kirk. Stay tuned.
Yes.
Before we
advice.
finish up, I want to hear your favorite 420 memory.
Favorite memory? I've got a few. Boy, I don't know. 420. I don't know. It's I know the history, all of that stuff. Cannabis in general. Gosh, I don't know. I mean, I got a lot of memories. I got,
I mean, you've had to have gone to so many events on 420, done so many different things. I would imagine that you would have too many to choose from.
Well, I don't know. 420. That, I mean, to me, it's not. 420 is kind of like it's okay, but it's bigger than that. Just 420. That's kind of like a big popular thing. I'm into this my whole life. It's not so simple. I'm honest and sincere. I could come up with a cute story, I suppose, but I just can't think of just one particular thing. I can think of some really great stuff and people that have really helped a lot, and people I admire. But just I can't think of something. Maybe I should have something like that, because I don't have some simple thing. I can think of some weird stories.
That's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Jorge's response tickled my brain. A few years after the origin point of 420, Jorge was discovering his love of the plant while studying abroad, charting a revolutionary course of his own, and developing his own rituals. My aha moment being when I realized the difference of a couple of decades between when 420 really started taking off in the 90s, which is what Alex and I grew up with, and how Jorge and Jeff Lowenfels, who we'll hear from next, had their own set of rituals, but it always involved community and showing our appreciation for the plant. It's also about showing up for the people in your life when it matters, as we'll hear from Dr. Riley Kirk following Jeff.
And have you been celebrating 420, or do you celebrate 420?
I just whenever I feel like smoking, I do it because I'm
Well, like the
retired.
date,
Uh, oh, the date
like April.
420.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think we all do. I mean, we all laugh, and I have a daughter that was born the day before. Kind of tease her, but yeah, I mean, again, uh, it's it's fun. It's fun to get together with Tom Alexander and George Jorge, and just laugh and think about what's happened. We call ourselves the Three Musketeers, Three Amigos. How things have changed, how much fun it's been. Uh, Whew, man, we could tell you stories. We don't want to get in trouble.
That's the thing I love about cannabis is when you find your people, this community is so welcoming. It doesn't matter the differences in life you have. You can all get together over a joint, pass it around, and you'll find that common thread and be best friends by the end of that joint. So,
Around the world,
yes.
the world. It doesn't matter where you are. You could be in Montserrat in the Caribbean. You could be in Russia. Doesn't make a bit of difference. And usually, if you're good enough, you can tell. So that's kind of fun.
It is. Okay, so lastly, before we end, favorite 420 memory.
I've had some great 420 memories, and it's like such a special holiday. But I will say, one of my fondest memories is probably not the uplifting story you're imagining, but essentially, I think it was 2 years ago, and I had like plans for 420. I was like so excited for it, and like the day of, like the morning of 420, one of my best friends messaged all of us and essentially said, "My dad's in the hospital. This is pretty bad situation. Blah blah blah. I don't know how to handle myself." Like she was in a really bad place, and we all had 420 plans, but we all canceled our plans. Went to her house, brought a ton of weed, and we just held space with her and smoked a bunch of weed, and like that's our community. And like at the end of the day, if like of course I wanted to like party and have an awesome time and smoke a 10-gram joint, that's fun, but like at the end of the day, what really builds this community is the people. And like my friends and I have been smoking for so long, like that's where I wanted to be on 420. So that was kind of a special thing, I think, for all of us, because it was 420 and we were sharing, we're using weed as like a communication healing tool in that situation. And I think that was really special to all of us. So that was a few years ago, and that was probably one of my fonder ones that I've had.
That's amazing. I love that. I was not expecting that story, but I think it's so true that the depth of connection that you can have with somebody while you're smoking, it can connect you like in profound ways, spiritual ways, emotional ways, that being completely sober, you have your ego, you have the stories you tell up, you have walls up. And so when you are able to smoke and hold space for each other, and you kind of shed that ego and disillusion is there, and you're able to just like really really be there for each other. So that's beautiful, and I'm so appreciative that you shared that.
Yeah, and that's something so special about smoking is like there's this inherent sense of camaraderie, and not just in my friend group, but in general, like if you share a joint or something, it's like you trust them in some way. It's like, especially if in states where it's maybe not even legal, it's like you trust these people because you're sharing this together. And the girls I'm talking about, these were my college roommates that we all got back together. We still hang out all the time, but it was my college roommates, and weed is what made us friends. That was the glue holding our friendship together. I remember like one of those friends, I met her because, she kind of dressed like a stoner and I dressed like a stoner, but like we were in biochemistry, and, we just sat next to each other. And one of the days I just turned to her and I'm like, do you smoke weed? And she's like, yeah. And then we went back to my apartment, and we've literally been like best friends ever since. And that's how the entire group of girls met, is just each of us kind of slowly bringing in these other stoner chicks. And eventually, like, we created this friendship that's now lasted like decades, which is so special. So of course, weed still keeps us together and brings us together even when we least expect it.
Oh, hell yeah. I would say, like, I have a hard time connecting with a lot of people. I have very few friends, and the ones who are my best friends are my stoner girlfriends. That when I was 19, the girls that you can just get super high with, be a complete idiot, and be yourself. There's nothing holding back. Those are the women that I have maintained friendships with, that have lasted through everything, all of the phases, because we change, we grow. I'm not that person who I was when I was 19, but you still have that glue of cannabis. And I would always say, like, I could never date when I was 19. I'm like, I could never date somebody that doesn't smoke weed. That was like what I would always tell my mom. And then I started growing weed, and I was like, I could never marry somebody who doesn't grow weed, because what would we talk about? Like, I need help harvesting and trimming and doing all of this. And it's just like, it's true how you just connect with people who are in, like, it's just deep. It is deep. So
I say it all the time. It's like literally my entire network, my life is shaped around weed. Like, it's the way, like everything is shaped around weed now. And of course it's like my career now, so it's even more refined, but like that's how I made friends. That's my family. All of us use cannabis. Like, it is highly accepted in my household. So it's just, it is glue. It's been amazing. And guess what? Like, everyone's doing pretty good because of weed too. It's our medicine. It's, it's our mental health. It's everything. And yeah, we talk about our love for this plant literally every single day. We love it.
Oh, that sounds like you have an amazing family and friendships. Thank you so much for sharing all of this information, your personal stories and the education, the science, and what you've got going on, and just spending the last hour with me. I really appreciate you.
Thanks. I really enjoyed this conversation for sure. And I'm excited to see what this podcast turns into. I can't wait to see it all like chopped up and edited, and it's going to be awesome. I'm stoked for you.
Sun-Grown Stories will be back next week, which is May, can you believe it, for a deep dive on nitrogen. Get excited for Alex's deep dive. And if you can't wait until then to get your learn on, I highly recommend taking a look at the classes over at queenofthesungrown.com. They are 42% off for the rest of April, so get in on that fabulous deal before it's gone. Link to that is in the description, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And write a review for Sun-Grown Stories if you are listening on one of those platforms. Thanks, y'all.
There was a light, let it come in, choosing her sin. Every morning, choosing to be